Welcome to Business Beyond Borders, the go-to podcast for CPA firms seeking transformative insights. I'm your host, Lawrence Whittam, and with each episode we'll uncover key insights, best practices, and invaluable resources tailored for CPAs. From trending strategies to diving deep into outsourcing and offshoring, our experts will help in all areas of your business. Hi, everyone, and welcome to Business Beyond Borders. And today we've got Hardik Shah, Senior Vice President of Unison Globus, here with us today. A very good friend of mine, known for many years. Previously was my CEO as well, so learned a lot from Hardik over the years. Hey, Hardik, how you doing?
Hi, Lawrence.
Thank you for joining. So, and just that everybody knows, as this is one of our first episodes with an outsourcing firm, really that being part of it as a guest. Every other episode, we're going to have different professionals from the outsourcing side of things so that we can really dig into some of these areas in terms of cultural gaps, best practices, some of the challenges firms are facing, and really hear it from the other side. So from the actual outsourcing firm, so we can really work on that together. Because again, one of my big philosophies is really, it's not just done on one side. It's never a point your finger at who's to blame. It's really, you have to come together and have to work on it together. So in order to do so, you have to hear from both sides. Right. So, and there's nobody better to have than Hardik to give us the first episode and give us a bit of insight from his side, as he's worked with many firms over the years and including worked for a firm himself. So Hardik, can you give a bit of an intro about yourself and a bit about your background as well to give people some insight?
Sure. First of all, thank you very much, Lawrence, for inviting me and providing me this wonderful opportunity. Me being a CPA, licensed CPA from the state of Colorado, and in the practice of U.S. accounting and taxation from past 2 decades. So I have worked with a lot of organizations, like a mid-sized CPA firm to one of the pioneers of outsourcing over here and developing $1 million divisions with them. Then going into a field where we provide service to the F&A client. And now I'm working with Unison Globus as an associate director over here. So let me brief you a little bit about Unison Globus also. Unison Globus is a premium outsourcing firm where we have more than 300 members, which is envisioned by our founder directors, Mr. Vijesh Jinjuwadia and Uday Ranpara. And we have 3 offices over here in India and total team size of 300 people and serving more than 300 CPAs right now over there.
So can you give us an idea of where are those offices? You said you got 3 offices. So whereabouts are they?
Sure, definitely. So our head office is in Ahmedabad, which is most western state of Gujarat and the financial capital of that one, which is 500 kilometers north to Mumbai. Then why Ahmedabad? Because this is the largest concentration of accountants over here in India. People see accounting as a very, very respected profession over here. And most of the college pass-out graduates are from the commerce background over here. So it makes sense to be headquartered over here on that side of it. Our second office is in Hyderabad, which is somewhere in the southern India, which is again an IT hub. But along with IT, they also have a very good tax background. So all the big fours and everybody is there in Hyderabad. And Hyderabad is very much up and booming city over here in India. And the third location is a very bright spot on that side of it, which is a Surat location, which is very close to Mumbai on that front. And new talent is now coming up in the tier 2 and tier 3 cities of India. So Surat is again a tier 2 city over here. And fresh talent is very much available on that side of it. So it's a combination of concentration of accountants, concentration of tax talent, and new upcoming talent on that side of it. So that's why we carefully chosen these three locations over here.
Yeah, and what you'll find in India and really around the world, you'll hear this tier 1, 2, and 3 cities, right? So just so that everybody listening understands, like the tier 1 is like the New York cities, right? I mean, is the major cities. Then the tier 2 is the up and comers, right? And then the tier 3 is again more so developing, right, in that sense. And you'll find a lot of outsourcing firms in India are in a bit of everywhere, right, in that sense, right? They're trying to have that tier 1 city as one of their headquarters, but they're quite overdeveloped, overpopulated in that sense as well, right? So you're going to find a lot more difficult and a lot more competitive for certain talent, right? And you'll find other people going towards those tier 2 cities now, I would say, in most cases. Is that right?
Yeah, exactly. And plus new development. So if you want to create an office same infrastructure what you have in New York, then the tier 2 cities and tier 3 cities are much better because you can play out on a clean slate over there. You can create whatever infrastructure you want to create. So just to give an idea, our center of excellence, that is what we called for our operational centers, because they have top-notch internet security, they have top-notch paperless environment, best of the best computers available to you. Each and every team member has a dual screen over here, and they have to make sure that all pen drives and everything is disabled. Their phone is outside in the locker, and everything is like what we have in New York City. That kind of infrastructure can be created in these new towns. The tier 1 cities, because they are a little bit what we can say already developed, so it's very hard on that side of it to make sure that you can create something of this sort over there itself. So definitely it makes sense to go for tier 2 and tier 3 over here.
Great. And you mentioned about sort of like the center of excellences, and this sort of comes into, obviously I had the pleasure of coming by the newer offices as they were being sort of constructed and developed. So, and again, really, really top of the line from that perspective. But I know that you guys also have an academy, right? So I think one of the things that a few outsourcing firms I know of, right? They are starting from the grassroots level, right? Which is great. I mean, you are really picking talent out from colleges. You're bringing them in early. You're training them. You're making sure they understand sort of the US side of things rather than just the Indian side of accounting, going through those courses. Now, can you explain a little bit about that academy side of it, right? And what firms should really think about when they're exploring outsourcing firms, like why the academy and why these extra things are important?
Exactly. So talent shortage is everywhere, and India is also not an exception. But here, the talent shortage is of a different kind. You find a bunch of accountants evidently available to you to work, but the problem is that they are not skilled properly. They don't know the US side of it, that what is 1040, what is W2. They don't know anything on that front. So definitely they need to reskill themselves. Now, how we can reskill them? By making sure that those who have the knowledge, they pass it on to the next generation by a platform which can be shared by them. So that's the platform which we have created from our side. We call it an Equant Academy. And in Equant Academy, the goal is to make sure that the new talent is acquired from the college, and they have been retrained or reskilled in such a way that they will be an asset to the organization for the longer term, making sure that they have been trained on US accounting and US taxation side of it, so that they are well aware about the things. So when any client talks to them, they know what they are talking with the client, and client don't have to spend much of their time on training. Even the other purpose is also served on that side of it by being part of an academy. The students are able to do the dummy tax returns over there. We have a bank of more than 500 tax returns for practice for them. So they prepare dummy tax returns. So they get a very close simulator kind of environment on which they can work upon and make sure that returns are properly learned on that side of it, and they are aware of the things on that. Other than that, in academy, we also provide underprivileged child, they if for whatever reason they are not financially sound, we make sure that their expenses are provided by Unison Globus itself through our foundation, and we empower them and make sure that they go to the next level in their life on that side of it. So win-win situation for everyone. Local talent will know the US accounting and taxation. US clients will find a talent over here, a trained talent, so that they can just hire them and they start working. And local communities are also get benefit of it.
Now, and I know, and that's also, I mean, it's again, knowing you for so long, I've known that you all, again, how do we put it? Philosophy and the way that you work. Again, you've always wanted to, again, empower and employ as many people as possible in the local community side of things. And now getting to the point where you're also sponsoring individuals as well, which is great, to make sure that more people can get into the industry, right? That maybe were separated because of financial reasons previously. I feel like a lot of firms know roughly like what can be done in India, right? From the service side, whether it's taxes, assurance, audit, accounting. I know that you guys are trying to push the boundaries a little bit there and look at some of the more high level, more technical based solutions. Like, can you give some idea as to what some of the higher level talent, if you get the right people in place, what they're really capable of and what they have experience doing, like such as M&A transactions and all these other areas, right? Can you dig into that a little bit, just that people have a bit of a flavor of what is capable down the line if you are employing people and if you are taking that time to train?
Exactly. So it's not just a factory model over here. We provide a high-end work also. Because our tenure and we have served for more than 2 decades over here, now the high level work can also be performed from here. So just to give you an example, like 706NA, which is one of the most complex form to fill for a non-resident for their deceased person and their asset kind of the return, which is a very complex return. Even IRS takes 9 months plus to process that kind of returns. And we are doing it and we have done successfully from here multiple times on that side of it. And that's not just one of the case. Like, for example, if you think for a hedge fund accounting, yes, we can do it from here. If you think in the taxation, you think expat taxation with 547172 preparation, with a 2555 foreign non-income exclusion kind of stuff. That can also be handled from here. Your guilty tax calculations for your C corporation, that can also be done. So a lot of things are there. In assurance, definitely staff can provide as an audit support service from here so that your staff can more focus on getting things done on ground rather than worrying about the vouching and test and all that basis. So, and as you mentioned, M&A side of it, the financial preparation, the MIS preparations, the virtual CFO level services, where entire finance function can be managed from here. So that level of service can be provided. In fact, Unison Globus has a very unique proposition from that side, that we are the first one to introduce BOT model for mid to large size CPA firm, where their captives can be developed over here with our help and our expertise on that side of it. That's the unique proposition which we are coming up to, setting up the captives for mid to large size CPA firm, where they are talking about 200-seater project, 500-seater project. So that's what we are trying to accomplish over here.
Gotcha. And that's very important just to note, like with that BOT style, right? That's where you're essentially going to be owning your own captive down the line. It's a transition over a period of years. But again, very, very helpful because it reduces the risk coming into a new country, a new area. You get a lot of the infrastructure's there for you. And again, at the end, you can sort of decide to some extent, okay, do you want to transition? Is this the right year to transition? Maybe it's not. Maybe you want to extend it. Maybe you want the firm to keep certain responsibilities to help you out, or sit on as an advisory board member, for example, right? And keep on certain roles. So there's lots of ways, and it's something to think about when you're developing a team. It's not really for the small firm. It's for really when you've built a sizable team, you're developing a culture, right? You really want it to be your own office now, right? And then that creates more sustainability long term, right? Because now it becomes your own team, right? Your own staff under your company. So that's great that you're helping with firms to do that. Now, and going into that a little bit, let's talk about a few of the challenges that you're seeing, right? So what are a couple of challenges that you see firms have when outsourcing, and where there's a bit of ruffled feathers between the two, right? And it's difficult to necessarily get your point across in some cases. Can you share, again, some of those challenges that can help firms understand how to do it better?
Yeah. No success can come without any challenges. That's for sure. Mm-hmm. So we also face a few of the challenges. The first and foremost is the talent retention side of it, because now large influx is coming for outsourcing. Now everybody wants to be in India, and they want to have their share of the pie. They want talented people and all that front. But luckily, we have a very robust system of our own academy, and making sure that a constant talent pool is introduced into the industry with a tie-up of local colleges and all, so that we can train them and make sure that they can take care of the work on that side of it. The second foremost challenge I can see is the client mindset. We have to make sure that I always give a switch analogy to the people. So if you are in US, for you, when you plug in into the socket, you assume that the power will be there, and everything will be up and running, because there is no switch concept in US. While you come to India, there is a switch concept. You have to plug in and you have to turn on the power. You have to get that extra effort to make sure that the power is provided to the instrument in which you are plugging. So that's what it is. You have to give a little bit of extra efforts to make sure that the thing is up and running on that side of it. Yes, it's an initial burden, initial headache you are taking, but that will go a long way for you to give you a very quality work from here itself. It's always a ego. If you give garbage process, then definitely it will produce a garbage result out of it. Another challenge is to make sure that proper SOPs are documented, very well written into the system and into the process, so that everybody knows about it. The cultural difference is there, because people over here are very afraid to say no to the people, because they feel that saying no is a bad thing over here. So they just nod and they accept the thing, rather than candidly saying no, that I didn't understand and all that front. So those are the major challenges which I see on that side of it. Other than that, if you are persistent, if you have proper return SOPs, if you are ready to commit a certain level of your efforts into the initial phase, then definitely it will work on that side of it.
So let's say, and again, I think the SOP side of it, I think everybody understands that they need to have sound process. I don't think anybody's really there. I mean, I sat in a room in a conference the other day, and there was at least 50 firms there, and the question was asked, who has an SOP structured for most processes? Maybe 50% of the hands went up. Has anybody updated it in the past 3 years? There was probably 2 hands up, right? So exactly. Nobody's consistently updating them, right? But that's an important feature to make sure we updating our SOPs, and those processes may change as well, right? And certain assignments may not, the whole process may not come offshore, right? It may be elements of it need to stay onshore for whatever purpose, or stay onshore initially before you get to a certain stage, right? But let's go back to, I guess, that headache portion, right? So like you were saying, the sort of garbage in, garbage out aspect, right? But investing actually in making it work, right? And it becoming a bit of a headache. What is that investment that, in your opinion, needs to happen for the firms, right? What do the partners or directors need to think about when they're getting involved and invested in an outsourcing firm that will at least help with their expectations around that headache, right? I mean, headaches come all the time, right? And there's always challenges in business, but when you're expecting a challenge, it's a lot easier to plan for it and get in the right mindset to tackle it compared to just having something pop up. They're always the most frustrating ones, right? So what is it that you really need firms to think about or do initially to help along that path to reduce that stress?
Perfect. The first and foremost thing is to realize there is a problem by making sure that whatever the firms, how they are operating, they have to analyze themselves at how we are operating first, and make sure that the best practices are properly written for them for their side of it, and make sure that those best practices are shared with the outsourcing partner. Because it's not that you just give it to them and they will perform the work and boom, it's done. No, that's not the way of doing the things. First, you have to document your best practices, share with your outsourcing partner, and let them make sure that it is implemented on their side of it first. Once they implement it, then because of their experience working with multiple firms, they can suggest certain changes. So you have to be open on that side of it to accept the changes suggested by outsourcing partner. You have to trust them. You have to make sure that whatever they are trusting, I'm not saying 100%, but whatever is implementable from your side of it, that just be open on that side of it. That let them speak and let them come up with a solution. And if you feel that, yes, that makes a better process at our end as a firm, then you should be open for changing at your end also. I'm not saying that you have to always do that, but it's an advisable step. Then and then only you will also improve as a firm on that side of it. So documentation of best practices internally first, and be open to those changes suggested by the outsourcing partner because of their experience on that side of it. So that will be a key to success, which I can suggest on that side.
Yeah, and I think this comes down to communication, right? I mean, it's has to be. It's a team, right? You're now expanding your team, being the outsourcing firm, right? So that means that there are people like yourself, and there are senior professionals in the team, VPs, AVPs, and people that are looking at it more from a strategic perspective. They're the ones that can get involved in this process side and the SOP side to look at it and say, okay, I mean, this isn't going to work for the team that we've got for XYZ reason. Or we need to break this down further, or we need to do something, right? But that open dialogue needs to be there from not just the day-to-day work, but more the planning of the type of work, right? And looking at the overall process, looking at a strategic roadmap, right, as to what we're looking to do as well. So that's awesome. Now, can we go into, let's pick out a couple of best practices. Like realistically, if a firm is jumping into this, they really need it. They're looking for some talent. Like, what should a firm do on their side to make it a successful journey, right? And we've obviously just gone into a bit of that planning, the open communication. But what else is there that they should really be doing to help them take those next steps?
The best and foremost thing is to make sure that you make your firm a process-driven firm rather than just a people-driven firm. That will be a great starting point for you to make sure that proper processes are set into the firm itself. And then you can break down those processes into what can be outsourced and what cannot be on that side of it. So that will be the first and foremost thing, is to make the firm a process-driven firm rather than people-driven firm on that side of it.
When we say people, right, and again, because this comes up a lot, right, the cultural side of things, and you mentioned it at the beginning as well, cultural differences. As we sort of wrap this up, what I would love to hear, again, you're there, you've been in both places, you know the differences in culture, right? You've worked with a lot of people in the US, firms in the US, including obviously lots of people in India and around the world. So can you tell us a bit about the Indian culture, right? In terms of what we should really be understanding of, right? And keep an open mind to from here that maybe people that haven't dealt with anybody in India before, right? What's most important to the majority, right? And not to stereotype majority, right? But because again, individuals are individuals, right? But what are the things? Tell us a couple of things that like we should really understand before getting involved, and maybe things to watch out for, not to do, would be important for people to know about.
Exactly. So to explain that, what I can say is that in India, you have to make sure that once a person acknowledges, that doesn't mean that that individual is knowing it. You have to see their work to make sure that they understand. So communication is not the judging barrier for any individual. Please don't judge a individual by their communication, because India is a country of different languages. Each and every individual speak differently, so they know multiple languages, but again their English might not be that great, but they might be a very good resource for you to provide the work on that side of it. So never judge an individual by their communication skill. That's the first and foremost thing. Second is you have to make sure.
So with that, what is a good way for firms to make sure if they've got somebody on their team that maybe isn't as good as communication? And a lot of outsourcing firms will help by providing an additional resource or like a manager they can communicate with. However, what's a good control check to help make sure that somebody has understood what you're trying to tell them or get across, for somebody, if you're working with somebody that maybe isn't as strong with communication?
In that sense, what happens that you have to make a communication as a part of learning for them. Then definitely it will solve a lot of problem. Because if you give them training, definitely they will learn on that side of it and make sure that that extra effort is done. And the written communication is the best. So there might be people, they might not be able to speak properly, but they might be doing a wonderful thing on the writing side of it. So a formal training in the communication side definitely will help the cultural aspect of it. The other thing is India is a land of festivities and all that. So again, that doesn't mean that people are taking too much of leaves. They are working very hard. Even they work in a different time zone. They the time zone difference, they put it in the advantage side of it. How? Because your office can work 24/7. First, your US team can communicate with your Indian team for a couple of hours. So, and Indian team will operate independently, and US team will operate independently for the rest of the time. So your effective working is increased to 18 hours from just a window of 8 hours a day on that side of it. So India has turned that negativity into a positivity of the time zone difference. So that's how you have to see a problem on that side, that the solution will be a much better than the problem itself.
So festivities side of things, tell us some of the top holidays, right, that some of the audience will like to hear, should know about, right, and when they are in the year so that they're aware as well.
Correct. So in India, topmost is Diwali. It is the Christmas of India. So definitely, whosoever is there, you have to come over here during that time, and you will enjoy. Same as Christmas, everything is there. It's a new year of India, so you will definitely enjoy. The second is Holi, which is a festivity for colors. So it when the spring starts, it comes in that part of the year, so that people will play with colors with each other. So a lot of colors you could see over here on that side of it. Other than that, in this particular part of India, we have the 9 nights dancing festival we call Navaratri over here. So people used to gather and dance throughout the night on that front. So it's again a very good festivities on that side of it. So those are the major festivals. Other than that, Indian independence and all that will be always there. So the people are like that. They want to enjoy, and give them time out. Don't stick them to your US calendar and all. And if you invest in them regularly, definitely they'll give you more productivity on that side of it. So people are really hardworking. It's just the way of putting the things on that side of it.
I think one of the things there that, again, some people may have picked up on is the is Diwali being the most, again, really the top holiday. And yet one of the things you said was, so come visit, come join during that time, right? So, and again, just think about it in the US. I mean, when was the last time somebody asked you to join their Christmas? Probably very, very, very rarely, right? But it's a very welcoming community in that sense, right? So, and again, always been extremely hospitable when I've traveled. So it's just something to be aware of, is that they want you to be involved in these things, and they want you to know about it, but they're not necessarily going to speak up about it, everybody, right? You have to try and engage and get it out of them a little bit, especially with team members with less experience, from that perspective. So no, this has been great, Hardik. Really, really appreciate it. Now, how can people reach out to you, whether they're looking for services, whether they just need some help or discussion about something? How would they reach you?
Yeah, best is our website. Come to www.unisonglobus.com. And if you want to reach out directly to me, then my email address is hardik.s@unisonglobus.com. So that's my email address. You can find it on our website also. Me and my entire leadership team's profile is over there. Please reach out to us on that front, and we can take it forward from there.
Perfect. Thank you very much, Hardik. And thanks everyone for joining today. I hope you had fun and learned a little bit about, especially the India side of things. And like I said, every other week, we'll have an episode similar to this, where we'll go into different geographies, the different companies that are out there, and really sharing some of these best practices and challenges so we can learn from it and put some actionable steps in place for you. Thank you for tuning in to Business Beyond Borders. I'm Lawrence Whittam, and it's been a pleasure bringing you impactful insights tailored for the modern CPA firm. Remember, the world of accounting is vast and ever evolving, and we're here to navigate it together. For more resources and episodes, don't forget to subscribe and reach out to our experts. Until next time, keep pushing the boundaries of your business and explore the limitless possibilities beyond borders.